again, yesterday, we kind of talked about area and what we think about that word, what that word means to us. A lot of you told me it has to do with space in a certain place. And you're exactly right. We're trying to figure out how much space is inside a specific area. So our question today is, how can you figure out how much space is inside this figure? So I'm going to go over some vocabulary words that might be helpful when we start trying to answer this question. The first is length. What does length mean? I'm sure you've heard the word length. What does length mean? Lily, what do you think length means?
Kind of like shapes, angles, and length, but also length can be like, is it the same length? Like, this length of water? I don't know how to put it.
I know, it is hard to put into words. Lainey, what do you think length means?
The size or something?
Okay, it has got to do with size. It is a measurement. Gia, what do you think length means?
How long the figure is.
Yeah. How long, aka, you're exactly right, it is a distance. One side is. A lot of people will say that the length is the longer side. It doesn't have to be. There is no rule that says length is the longer side. Do you have this written down? Yes or no? Get busy. Does not have to be the longer side, but a lot of people think length long. So a lot of people would say this right here, that 5, that's telling me how long it is. In this case, it's 5 blocks long. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes? Kylie, what's up? Yes. Aiden, what's up?
Height.
Height?
Yeah.
We are not. We are going to stay in the 2B realm. We will get to width. That would be our other side. You're going to notice that width is almost the exact same definition. Again, a lot of people think width must be the smaller side. It doesn't really matter, but if you want to think of it that way, that's fine. In the case of our shape, our width is at number 3. Our shape is 3 blocks wide. All right. So now that we have some language, how do you think I'm going to figure out how much space is inside this figure? What could I do? William, what do you think I could do? I'm going to count all those blocks, right? 100%. To find the area, whoops, I need to know how many blocks fit inside that area. So counting it will definitely tell me how many's in there. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have 15 blocks in that area. So my area of this shape is 15. Does that make sense? Bria, what's up? Sure.
Another way that you could maybe find out the answer is by maybe doing multiplication like 5 times 3.
Why would I do 5 times 3?
Because there are 5 roots of 3.
Sure. What does this shape look like? You've seen this before. Ada, what does it look like? Does look like a rectangle, but rectangles we didn't multiply. What does it look like where I would be multiplying? Dorian? No? Not quite. Lily?
Times chart.
Nope. Kylie, what do you think? Hunter, what do you think that looks like? Not a hundreds chart. We don't multiply on a hundreds chart. Really? What do you think? Nope. Garrett, what do you think? It is rows and columns, so what is that called? Kudos to you going back in your math notebook. Because this information is way back in that math notebook. Kylie?
An array.
It looks like an array. We have rows and we have columns. Remember way back when we first started multiplication and we would make these arrays on our desk with our counters. These are just squares, but they are the same arrangement. So if something is arranged in an array, can I also multiply? Could I count? Yeah, that worked totally fine. But I could skip a few steps and do some multiplication. What's up, Adam? Go for it.
So I'm clearly just you're just
Alright, so I have some graph paper, and I want to figure out how much area is in, let's say, a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see that? The length of this, or the width of this, whatever language you want to use, is 4 boxes by, let's say, 2. 1, 2. Okay? I have a 4 by 2 area. It's 4 boxes long, 2 boxes wide. How could I figure out the total area inside that shape? Chloe, how could I figure it out? Theo, sit up, please. Come on, kid, I need you to be paying attention. Grayson, how could I figure this out?
multiply 4 times 2
Why?
because there's 4 rows with 4 in them and 2 columns.
Yeah, I have a 4 by 2 array, so I could multiply. Could I also count my spaces in between?
Yes.
Would that work?
Yes.
Yes. What is 4 times 2? You can say it out loud. 8. There is a special way to write our answer, because our answer really is not 8. 8 what? So we're doing something kind of different when we're talking about area. We're filling up a space. This was 4 squares, right? 2 squares. My answer is 8 square units. And what that means is, inside that space, I was able to fit 8 squares. Does that make sense? I want you to write this down.
Just that?
Yep. because you're going to see square units a lot, and it means I can put 8 squares inside whatever area I was measuring. So in this case, I have 8 squares. You might also see it as units, U for units, and then a 2 up here. Have you ever seen a 2 written up high like that? Yes? No? Maybe? That means squared. That's what that means. So when I write a 2 up high, I'm saying that I'm measuring 2 dimensions, length and width, to make a square. Does that make sense? Right? Think back to geometry now. Wishing all the math we've learned into one. Yes, ma'am.
You want us to put the two on it?
Yep, you can. That would be fine. Aiden?
I have 2 questions.
Okay, go.
If they were all equal, like 2 sides, like how both of the 2 sides, 2 parallel, well, I'll go back to shape. So the 2 parallel.
Doing that. All right, guys. So you have an array on your desk. What are the dimensions, length and width, are dimensions. What are the dimensions of the array that you created? Farrah, what did you create? So you made a 5 by 4 array. Give me a Me Too signal if you also made a 5 by 4 or a 4 by 5.
I don't know what I made.
Well, you gotta count it. That would be the point of it.
Oh, okay.
What else did you make? Could have made something else. What did you make, Dorian?
4 top of the
4 by 3, gonna give you 20. So that was not the correct array. You gotta use all 20 counters.
Yeah, but I did.
But you didn't, because that's only 12. Grayson.
10 by 2.
Good. Could have made a 10 by 2. That uses all of our counters. That make sense?
Yeah.
So my dimensions are just the rows and columns. In your notebook, I want you to write dimensions and then point to rows and columns, because that's what that's talking about. So you've made a 2 by 6 with your counters. Now you have that imaginary. Put your counters away, Billy, because you chose to make a circle instead of follow my directions. You are making a 2 by 6 with your counters. You've used your finger to draw an imaginary rectangle. Can someone tell me what is the length? Right here. What is the length of your rectangle? William? Nope. I just want the length. Listen to my question. The length. Kylie? Just 6. Talking about one dimension, one side. What is my width? What is my width, Cade? 2. What is my area? What is my area? Talking about the number of things inside, the number of space inside, Lily?
10.
Nope, not 10. Ashlyn?
12.
12 square units. I know we use circles, so it's hard to imagine them as squares, but it is 12 square units. Yep,
I have a question.
go for it. When we are answering word problems that are going to be dealing with area, it's going to be a little different. So far, we have become masters at word problems. What's the first step to answering a word problem. Kind of a duh step. Mason?
You have to look back in the text to see.
Nope, before that. Gio? Nope. Hunter?
You have to flip it.
Nope, before that. Ashlyn?
Make a word.
Nope, before that. Bria?
Read it.
I gotta read it. Before I can make anything, I have to read the problem. So this word problem says Lauren is making a poster for her favorite band to take to a concert. She's going to use poster board that is 3 feet long and 5 feet wide. How much space will she have to decorate her poster? We've read it. What's our next step? We do the exact same thing every word problem. Billy?
Answer sentence.
We need an answer sentence. What am I measuring? What am I counting in this problem? What am I counting? Kylie, what am I counting?
How much space she needs to decorate her poster.
Perfect. So my answer sentence will be she needs blank. I'm not going to write space because I'm using a specific unit. What unit am I measuring with? Lenny?
Area.
I need a specific measurement. Like area is what kind of measurement? Not just length. William, do you know? I'm using feet. That's my unit. I'm not using inches. I'm not using miles. I'm using feet. So I'm going to say she needs blank feet of space. Okay? You should have an answer sentence. This part is just like every other word problem we've already solved. That's no different. What is normally our next step? We figured out what we're counting. We've got our answer sentence. And the next step is, Kylie?
You normally do a bar model.
We normally do a bar model. We are not doing a bar model.
What about math?
It is math, but this is a little more picture necessary. I have to be able to see it. That does not mean we're not going to draw a picture. But it does mean that the bar model is not what we're going to do. Chloe, if I'm writing, you're writing. So now I need to go back and look at my question and figure out what am I going to draw? What am I going to draw? My question is asking about a poster, so I'm probably going to draw a poster shape. Is my poster a triangle?
No.
How do you know? How do you know it's not a triangle? How do you know my poster is not a triangle? Aiden, how do you know?
Because some triangles don't have equal like length and width.
Yeah, how many lengths and widths did it give us?
It gave us 5 wide, so width, and then 3.
Yeah, so I have the measurement of 2 sides. How many sides does a triangle have?
3.
Is that going to be a triangle? No. What shape do you think my poster is going to be? What shape is it going to be? William, what do you think?
A square.
Is it a square?
And of course, it's not zero.
Is it a square? Mason, what do you think?
I think it's gonna be probably a quadrilateral.
Okay.
Like some sort of a quadrilateral.
Can you give me a more specific shape?
I'm forgetting the name.
Hunter, what do you think it's going to be?
Probably gonna be like a rectangle.
Why do you think that?
Because it doesn't have equal sides.
Are my dimensions equal?
No.
No, so that's how I know it's not a square. If they were equal, then it would totally be a square. So let's draw my rectangle. Here's my poster.
Or it could be the other way.
Sure. Here's my poster. It says 3 feet long. Okay. This side is 3 feet long. Could I have made that my top side? Sure. Length, where it is on my shape, does not really matter. My other side is 5 feet wide. Wait, I only have two, it only told me 2 sides. But my rectangle has 4 sides. What's going on with that? It only gave me 2 lengths, a 3 feet length and a 5 feet length or width. But my rectangle has 4 sides. What's going on with those other ones? Kate, what's going on with those other ones?
So if you were to graph it so it had like mini rectangles in there, there'd be rows and columns. And then with the rows and columns, there would be 3 feet column. So there would be 3 rows of.
It's tricky to explain.
3 rows of like blocks.
Maybe. Kylie, what do you think?
I think it was 3 rows of 5 blocks. Because
Well, what am I doing with my other blank sides?
the 5 feet would be on the other side too, and the 3 feet.
Yeah. Remember that time when we learned about rectangles and it said opposite sides are equal?
Yeah.
Remember that time?
No.
Yeah.
Like a couple days ago? 5, the opposite side, is equal to that. So that side is also 5.
It's just representing.
And our 3, the opposite side, is still 3. And if you're thinking as in terms of an array, it doesn't really matter if you count from the bottom up for your rows and columns, top down, they're still all going to be the same. We've got our model drawn. It's not a bar model, but we have a picture of our poster. We're trying to figure out how much space she's going to decorate that poster. Is that on the outside of the poster, or is that the inside of the poster?
Inside.
Inside. We're trying to figure out this. This is what she's decorating. We got to figure out the inside. How can I figure out how much space is on the inside? When we did area just a few seconds ago, way back at the beginning,
Oh, I know.
we could have counted all my squares.
No.
So could I draw 3 rows and 5 columns? Could I do that?
Yes.
Yes, I could. But I'm a big fan of working smarter, not harder. Is there a shortcut that I could do so I don't have to draw all those boxes?
Yeah.
Drawing all the boxes will totally work. But I don't want to draw all those boxes. So what else could I do? Grayson, what could I do?
5 times 3.
Why? Why will that work?
Because there's still gonna be 3 lines, but in 5 boxes will be in each line.
It is still going to be an array. So out to the side, the equation that we're going to use is a 3 by 5.
Oh.
If you would like to write 5 by 3, that's fine. We know this because area is arrays. Area is arrays. area is arrays. Why am I saying that so many times? Lily Marie? And what should you do with important things? When you think of area, get your X-ray vision on and make this into an array. You don't have to actually draw it because we know a shortcut for arrays, but that's what you are making. What's the total amount of area she's working with on her poster? Gio, what do you think? A little less time resting our head, a little more time paying attention would be great. William, how much area is she working with? 15 feet. Yes. So we're going to write 15, that little U for units, square. Or, since in this case I know my unit is feet, that's what I'm using, I'm going to say 15 feet squared. Remember that square that I've already explained means that we use little squares to fill it in. So squared is talking about what units you use. You use squares to fill it in like an array. Yes?
Why do you use a 2 for the square?
That's the math symbol. That's the math language for squared. Just like our times symbol is groups of, squared, units squared, is that little raised 2. That's the math language for it. Aiden, what's up?
So it's basically